a lot of people think that I'm desperate for attention, even though I haven't talked to you or anybody else in 3 months. But
if there were ever an inverse to the LeBron James decision,
in this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
It was Aaron Rodgers going on Patmcafee's show this week.
Listen, this entire time, I haven't felt like I owed anybody some sort of decision at any point. This is my life.
Really? As one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game, you don't feel like you owe a single one of the teams who would take a chance on you at age 41 any sort of decision at any point? Dude, you are such an ego-driven asshole.
And I have, a couple people in my inner circle who are really battling some difficult stuff. So I have a lot of things that are taking my attention, and have beginning in really January, away from football.
Oh God, I'm sorry, Aaron. I did not know that. I am sorry, I didn't have the full story. Please take your time.
I said, you don't know me.
That's what Aaron Rodgers does to us, right? He makes us angry by saying some shit, and then he tries to make us feel bad for getting angry at the shit he says. And I'm not sure anybody's better at doing it. He's telling us he's not holding the Steelers hostage. And then you pull the frame back just a little bit, and you see the Pittsburgh Steelers locked in a cage next to him. And we're like, Aaron, are you sure you're not holding them hostage? And he's like...
And I've been upfront with him about that and said, listen, if you need to move on, if you need to do something, by all means. Like, nothing but love and respect.
Today on the Patmcafee Show, Aaron Rodgers announced...
Thankfully me, I don't watch porn.
Sorry, wrong clip. He said he was there to clear up all the rumors about him.
Yeah, I'll set it all straight. I have no problem.
And by clear it up, he means?
So yeah, I'm open to anything and attached to nothing. So yeah, retirement still could be a possibility. But right now, my focus has been and will continue to be on my personal life.
So he's open to anything and attached to nothing. Retirement could still be a possibility, but right now his focus has been and will continue to be on his personal life. All of that's fine, but you cleared absolutely nothing up, Aaron. Nothing! And you tried to make us feel bad for wanting to know if you're going to play fucking football. If Aaron respected football fans, he would have concisely said, look, I have not decided if I will play in 2025. I can't personally make a decision based on some things happening in my personal life right now. When I make that decision, I will let you know. And in terms of what team I might play for, I have not decided, even though I had great conversations with the Steelers and Mike Tomlin. That's all he had to say. Instead, we were forced to piece together a bunch of long-winded diatribes about how everyone not in Aaron Rodgers' inner circle is a fucking idiot and should just shut up. We might be idiots, Aaron, but we will always talk about football. This is how Aaron concluded the show.
There's no more contemplation. I'm taking care of my people right now, and I'm taking care of my personal life responsibilities, and I'm keeping the conversation open as well.
Maybe the issue is Aaron doesn't really know what he's actually saying. He said he's not contemplating anything, he's taking care of his people, and he's keeping the conversation open. Am I crazy? Isn't keeping the conversation open contemplating? By not having made a decision, one would quite literally be contemplating. He might not realize how confusing it is when he speaks. I think that might be the actual problem. And today I wanted to break it down for you. Feel free to go watch his whole interview on Patmcafee. Pat did a pretty good job. But these are the cliff notes. And these will get you to the bullshit point more quickly. But first...
Where's the powder?
Left it at home. I left.
Don't forget to subscribe here. Trying to get to 725,000 subs by the draft. Also trying to get 312 more signups on Underdog by the draft. If I get those 312 signups, we're going to get a $60,000 bonus here at That's Good Sports. I am sharing that money. I'm sharing those bonuses with the people who help build this channel up. We are getting into crunch time, and I can't understate how impactful this is for this channel for the next coming year and following years. If you've signed up with my code That's Good or TGS, make sure you make your first play at Underdog. And with playoff basketball, there's not a better place to make picks. With their new game, The Extender, you can play your way to increasingly bigger boosts each round of the playoffs. Start a playoff series by using your Game 1 boost and continue boosting each subsequent game to unlock the next one. The longer the series, the bigger the boosts. There will be no bigger boost to my life, though, than us hitting those 6,000 signups. Link in the description. Play responsibly. I like playing at Underdog. In terms of football, the only nuggets gleaned from Aaron Rodgers were these. 1, he hates the Jets. Specifically, not a fan of new head coach Aaron Glenn. Brian Dable has a beautiful football mind. Ashton Ginty is a specimen. Mike Tomlin is cool. And DK Metcalf...
I wanted to do due diligence with this whole process, and part of it is talking to a guy like DK. And let me just say this, what a great dude. What a great dude.
Also, Aaron Rodgers voluntarily worked out with DK Metcalf, and he also wonders why rumors about him joining the Steelers spiral out of control. Sure, Aaron, go publicly throw footballs to one of the highest profile receivers in the NFL who plays for the team you're most closely associated with, and get mad at us for not giving you proper time to make a decision.
You know, a lot of people think that I'm desperate for attention, even though I haven't talked to you or anybody else in 3 months, but...
I honestly thought today I'd be making a video about Aaron Rodgers either retiring or letting us know he was going to play for the Steelers. Instead, Aaron pretends like he doesn't understand why people are excited for him to make a decision about playing in 2025. For 45 minutes, he contradicts himself in almost every other sentence he speaks. His conversation on McAfee is indicative of the complicated fella he truly is. Aaron Rodgers says he could care less about what people think of him, while also saying all of the things someone who deeply cares about what other people think of him. Now, there is no better example of this contradictory ego than with his story about meeting with the Jets after they had hired Aaron Glenn.
You know, I figured that when I flew across country on my own dime, that there was going to be a conversation. I meet with the coach, we start talking, he runs out of the room. I'm like, that's kind of strange. I was like, then he comes back with the GM. I think we're going to have this long conversation. I've flown across the country, and 20 seconds in, he goes, I mean, literally, I'm talking to the GM about something, and he leans to the edge of his seat and goes, so do you want to play football? And I was like, yeah, I'm interested. And he said, we're going a different direction at quarterback. And I was kind of shocked. Now, not shocked because I didn't think that was a possibility. Listen, of course, if they want to move on, that's totally fine. But shocked because I just flew across country. You could have told me this on the phone.
Now, going on McAfee just to troll the Jets, I respect. I love you again for that, Aaron. You're back in my inner circle. The Jets are terrible. That conversation, though, may be the biggest indicator that he's going to actually play in 2025. He said he told Aaron Glenn he wants to play, but he's telling all of us he's not sure. He said he would play for $10 million, but again, he has to care for his inner circle first. I think Aaron is either waiting for a better opportunity to emerge than the Steelers, or he knows he will play for the Steelers but won't commit now so he can avoid all the mandatory offseason bullshit and he can do all of the things he wants. Also, in his beef with the Jets, he threw Aaron Glenn under the bus. The same Aaron Glenn who every Detroit Lions player seemed to fucking love. The same Aaron Glenn who was the most sought-after head coach after Ben Johnson this offseason. The same Aaron Glenn whose greatest strength is how he communicates and relates to the players. I love the dunk on the Jets. I do. But the target should have been Woody Johnson, not the new head coach hired to right the sinking ship Rodgers helped build. He's like Floki from Vikings in terms of how his hands created that fucking ship.
Floki is a boat builder, among other things.
How is he different?
You are the genius that built the boats that changed our world.
Whoa, where did that reference come from? I don't know. I'm an enigma. The fact that Rodgers thought Aaron Glenn owed him more respect is funny to me, and I guarantee you Rodgers is not telling us exactly how that meeting actually played out. I agree, if Aaron Glenn knew they were going to move on from Aaron Rodgers, that would have been a nice thing to just do over the phone. But who once said in-person meetings are better than phone calls? Was it Aaron Rodgers? No way. He did not tweet that. Aw, you coy son of a bitch. But do you think it's possible that the Jets were in the dark about whether or not Aaron Rodgers wanted to actually play, and that possibly they thought that meeting would be about Rodgers telling them his intentions for 2025 as well? Why would it be hard for me to believe Rodgers was coy about his plans for the 2025 football season with the Jets? Is it because he's still teasing us about that process? He even managed to bitch about having to pay for his flight to New York.
That when I flew across country on my own dime.
Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron. Where on earth did you find the money to buy a plane ticket with the $381.69 million in career earnings you've made?
That when I flew across country on my own dime.
I agree. They should have flown him out there if they were just flying him out there to fire him. But him bitching about him makes him look like the petty one.
I told every single one of the teams I talked to, it ain't about the money. I'll play for 10 M's. I don't care.
Basically, Rodgers told us, I'll play for 10 mil, but I better not have to buy my own plane ticket. The Jets making Rodgers come to them just to tell him he's fired is exactly what Rodgers did to all of us by going on McAfee today. They wasted his time, and in turn, he wasted our time. He also said,
and he goes, we just want to know how you want it released, the messaging. And I said, verbatim, I don't give a shit about the message.
Oh, really, Aaron? You don't give a shit? You don't care what the team and media say about you in this situation?
Not one of those was the Jets, because that wasn't a great conversation.
We heard. So that was an accurate report. Okay, got it. Okay.
That was not an accurate report. We can get into that in a second. But
do you see why we're struggling here, Aaron? Half the time in this interview, you bitched about how you're represented in the fucking media. Bro, they asked you, how do we proceed with the messaging, and you told them to fuck off. Rodgers also noted,
I said, you don't know me. And he said, you don't know me. And then I said, exactly, which is why I flew across the country to have a face-to-face meeting with you to talk about my experience with the Jets and to hear your vision for the team.
You were the one who orchestrated the construction of big parts of that team the last 2 years. And that's what Aaron Glenn's trying to change. I'm not even suggesting he will change it, but his current job is to try and salvage some of the shit you helped fuck up.
But also the conversation about where I was at in my personal life, the stuff I'm dealing with off the field, in my inner circle, that has to take my attention right now. And so I wasn't, stringing anybody along. I wasn't holding anybody hostage. I was honest from the jump about where I was at mentally, and some of the constraints that I have in my life right now that warrant my attention.
But to Rodgers' point about his decision to play, the people who need to know. If that's true, fair. I respect that. If the Steelers are cool with Rodgers making a decision whenever, that's their choice. And that's what they initially said, right? And then they said they kind of need to know at some point. But if they're cool with it, that's fine. The Giants were not cool with that, which is why they signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. I think Rodgers can play serviceable football in the right situation. But his skill level, his locker room personality probably is not worth any team's weight. I think we were all hoping Rodgers was going to announce his retirement on McAfee's show so we could all go back to just appreciating what a great football player he was. Instead, he reminded us of how contradictory he is from sentence to sentence. He referenced his inner circle and his personal life a dozen times, and if there are people he loves dealing with some serious shit or life-threatening stuff, we're all gonna understand that. We all respect his right to privacy on those issues. And if Rodgers is asking himself the question, can I be here for these people the way they need me to be and still play football at age 41? We also understand the dilemma there. I hope those people that are around him are okay and he can be there for them. But it feels like he went on McAfee to use that situation as a way to deflect any justified criticism about his lack of communication in this entire process. And that's what this all boils down to, right? Aaron loves being the man of mystery. He loves the attention while pretending like he hates the attention.
You know, a lot of people think that I'm desperate for attention, even though I haven't talked to you or anybody else in 3 months.
If I can sum Aaron Rodgers up in one clip from The Office, it's this one.
I don't want a drama.
We just don't want all the drama.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when everyone knows it.
Love drama.
I know, I do, right? I'm a total drama queen.
Aaron Rodgers plays one of the most important positions in sports, right? Quarterback. He's been one of the best to ever do it, and I can't understate how fucking good he really was. He was quite literally my favorite quarterback to watch play for close to a decade. And when he goes on the biggest sports show in America to tell us...
Listen, this entire time I haven't felt like I owed anybody some sort of decision at any point. This is my life. Like I said, things are different now. My life is different. My personal life is different. I have stuff in the inner circle.
I'd take that as a sign to stay away from him. You can ask a team to give you time to make a decision. I think Aaron's earned that. I don't think Aaron's still worth that in terms of his ability to play and affect a game. But that's his right. And when talking about a team sport, when talking about the NFL draft, where the team you might play for may or may not need to draft a quarterback, when talking to all of the fans who support the sport, it's pretty condescending to everyone to say you feel like you owe us nothing. Moments after you insinuated the Jets owed you so much more respect and conversation. I really wish this interview on McAfee would have, one, just given us some concise information, and two, cleared up what Rodgers intended to do. I mean, just look at the title they had to use for the McAfee video. It cleared up nothing. I think he should retire. But I would love for him to come back and play another great season of football. When Aaron Rodgers is playing good football, the NFL is better because of it. I think Aaron Rodgers wants to play. I don't think he loves his only option being the Steelers right now. And I think he's just kind of waiting to see if another opportunity presents itself, while he may also have a bunch of personal shit going on in his life that's making his decision harder. And that's fair, and he can talk about that. But there are how many guys in the NFL? How many players in the NFL are also dealing with shit in their personal lives while also being respectful to the process that this profession needs in order for every team to be successful, or at least have the best chance to be successful the following season. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Don't forget to subscribe here, and maybe by the year 2029, Aaron Rodgers will have cleared this all up on the Patmcafee 24-hour news network. It won't even be ESPN. It will be just the McAfee News Network.